Acts chapter 26. Then Agrippa said to Paul, "It is permitted for you to speak on your own behalf." Then, stretching out hands, Paul made a defense. "Concerning all the things of which I am accused by Judahites, King Agrippa, I consider myself fortunate to be about to make a defense before you today, especially with your being expert in all customs, and also questions in relation to the Judahites. So I implore you to hear me patiently. My former manner of life from my youth, which from its commencement was among my own nation in Jerusalem, all the Judahites know. If those knowing me before, from the beginning, are willing to give testimony, that in keeping with the strictest sect of our form of worship, I lived as a Pharisee. And now, over the hope of the promise to the fathers made by God, I stand being judged, to which our 12 tribes, in intensity day and night serving, hope to attain, concerning which hope I am accused, King Agrippa, by Judahites. Why is it judged by you all as not believable if God raises the dead? Indeed, I thought in myself that I must do many things against the name of Jesus the Nazarene, which I duly carried out in Jerusalem, and many of the set-apart people I shut up in jails, having received the authority from the senior priests, and I laid down a vote against those being put to death, and often punishing them throughout all the synagogues, I was compelling them to blaspheme, and being exceedingly maddened against them, I was persecuting even to the extent of the outlying cities. And during this, while I was also journeying to Damascus with authority and a commission from the senior priests, at midday, on the road, O King, I saw a light from the sky, beyond the brightness of the sun, flashing around me, and those traveling with me, and all of us fell to the ground. I heard a voice speaking to me and saying in the Hebrew dialect, 'Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? It is hard for you to offer vain resistance.' And I said, 'Who are you, sir?' And he said, 'I am Jesus, whom you persecute. But rise up and stand on your feet, for I was seen by you for this purpose, to appoint you as a servant and a witness, both of these things you have seen, in which I will be revealed to you, delivering you from the people and the nations to whom I am authorizing you, to open their eyes to turn from darkness to light, and from the power of the adversary towards God, for them to receive forgiveness of sins, and by faithfulness in me, an inheritance among those having been set apart. So, King Agrippa, I was not disobedient to the heavenly vision, but making the proclamation first to those in Damascus and Jerusalem, and throughout all the regions of Judea, and to the nations to submit and turn to God, doing works appropriate for submission. On account of these things, the Judahites, having seized me in the temple, were attempting to murder me. So having help from God up to this day, I have stood giving testimony to both lowly and eminent, saying nothing outside those things what both the prophets and Moses said were about to happen, that the Christ is destined to suffer, and that, first out of a resurrection of the dead, he was going to proclaim light to the people and to the nations. And on his uttering these things in his defense, Festus said with a loud voice, 'You're raving mad, Paul. Your vast learning into raving madness is driving you.' But he said, 'I am not raving mad, most noble Festus, but I speak in my defense words of truth and discretion. For the king, before whom I also speak out with boldness, is informed concerning these things. For I am persuaded that none of these things is hidden from him, for this thing has not been done in a corner. Do you, King Agrippa, believe the prophets? I know that you do believe.' Then Agrippa said to Paul, 'In brief, you persuade me to become a Christian.' But Paul said, 'I could wish to God that not only you, but for all those also hearing me this day, both in little and in much, to become such as I also am, apart from these shackles. And when he had spoken these things, the king rose up, and the governor, and Bernice, and those who sat with them, turned aside and talked to one another, saying, This man does nothing worthy of death or shackles. Then Agrippa said to Festus, This man could have been set at liberty if he had not appealed to Caesar.